That's interesting music, but okay. Out of Bounds, ESPN, WRKS 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Welcome in. Got a good show lined up for you today. We'll have John Cohen in a few minutes. Talk a little MSU athletics, football. And then Steve Palazzolo at 8:30. Richard Greenlee with Ratchet Entertainment at 9 on the new concert at the Renaissance November 7th. And later in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll be eating steaks from Welcome Home Beef because they're coming here to cook on our Gourmet Guru Grill down in the Breezeway, which is going to be awesome. Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
I bet Sam Pittman could throw down some Welcome Home Beef steaks.
There's no question that Sam Pittman has absolutely smashed some bone-in ribeyes.
His favorite cut has to be a ribeye.
It has to be. He's a ribeye guy.
There's no.
I would fall out of my chair if he ordered a filet.
I'm 100%, or even a strip. I wouldn't be as shocked with a strip, but he's a ribeye guy.
You know the guys that you know that are offended by eating fillets?
Which is
there's
ridiculous,
yes. There's that guy that is only going to eat a ribeye or
a porterhouse, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's also the guy who thinks it's sissy of you if you don't drink straight black coffee.
That's a good point.
But
that is all I drink.
There's some antiquated.
I'm not that guy, but
that's usually the guy who thinks running backs still win ball games.
That's true. And that you have to go double tight end?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Speaking of,
and that thumpers can run sideline to sideline?
Yeah, I know a lot of our crowd is
crushing myths left and right.
I know a lot of our crowd isn't like big Bills fans, but Josh Allen's having an incredible season, and the Bills have run 50 snaps of 4 wide receiver and 1 running back, which means no tight end.
Well, what's Dawson Knox?
He's a tight end, but he's...
Are they flexing him?
A little bit.
I don't watch Buffalo
a little bit,
Bills
and he's
football,
been hurt
obviously.
too.
Okay.
But they've run 50 snaps of 4 receivers, no tight end, and the rest of the NFL combined has only run 92 snaps of that.
Are you serious?
Weeks. Yeah. So
Bills
they're
running the air raid?
Not really, but they're running 4 wide receiver sets. That's incredible. I love it. So my point of all that is to say, those guys, they're ahead of the game.
But let's go back to Sam Pittman's choice of beef.
Who's eating a ribeye?
It's got
to be. It's a ribeye.
Yeah.
Hands down.
He's a medium well guy.
Ooh, rough.
Just because of age.
Is he a ketchup guy?
I'm going to say no. Now, he could grab the A1 every now and then.
He got to be an A1 guy.
Depends on how rural he's recruiting.
Got to be an A1 guy.
If you're in super rural, whatever, Mississippi,
Arkansas,
Georgia, which is where he was prior to being at Arkansas, you could be in the dangerous A1 space. However, we're hoping that he just sticks with, some dry rub. And
who gets their steak cooked longer, Jeremy Pruitt or Sam Pittman?
Oh, Jeremy Pruitt. Well, I'm going to go Jeremy Pruitt.
I agree with that.
Because to me,
he's from Alabama.
Pruitt, you could just throw a well-done sirloin. And by the way, there are cuts of sirloin that are amazing. But you could throw a well-done sirloin in front of Jeremy, and he thinks that's Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Dinner. No doubt. All right. I'm glad that we checked that box today. We may actually dive back into that, considering Welcome Home Beef will be here at sometime in the 9 o'clock hour. And we'll be they may cook something other than fillets, too. I don't know. Anyway, they can cook whatever they want. We're excited about it. They'll deliver to your door, welcomehomebeef.com, or you can stop by in Starkville on Main Street and grab some steaks for game day. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The show is always brought to you by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. #1 Jeep truck accessory stores in Mississippi. They have a new location in Gluckstadt, Madison County. That's RPT, Rick's Pro Truck, spray and bed liners, lift kits, you name it, they've got it for your Jeep and truck at RPT and ricksprotruck.com. We want to go to the Coors Light guest line. Welcome in John Cohen, MSU AD. You're listening to 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app, and you can watch the show right now on YouTube. Just search Out of Bounds Sports. John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Bo. How you doing, partner?
Well, I'm doing well. It's game week. People are excited. So, how was dinner for John Cohen on Saturday night once you got home?
It was great. I just really so happy for our players and our coaching staff and Coach Leach. They put so much effort into this. Coach Leach in the locker room after the game, Bo, he said, "Hey, you didn't win this game today. You won it for the last month, and you won it in a week of preparation." And I as a former coach, Bo, I just really buy into that. I watched our kids prepare game week, and that's where that ball game was won. We were very, very prepared. We didn't play a perfect game. We made mistakes, but our preparation was, in my opinion, as good as it could possibly be.
Okay, well, I'd like to piggyback off of that. You've been in big games, College World Series, starting outfielder in the SEC, played for a national championship a couple of times, all that kind of stuff. What was it like in the fourth quarter to watch that team go through all the ups and downs and adversity, but still answer the bell later?
Well, I thought, especially KJ, when you look at it, he made it. There were a couple of mistakes, but he just went right back to it and kept attacking. And I think, that's Coach Leach's style. It doesn't matter what happened on the last play. It matters what we do on this play. And I thought our defense really stood up, especially in the fourth quarter. And there's just a belief that we deserve to win the football game, no matter how many mistakes we made, because the effort was there, the preparation was there. And again, for a first time out, I couldn't be more proud of every part of our football program.
And to do it so fast, I mean, they didn't have a lot of time. It's pretty remarkable to get a team ready against a top 5 recruiter like that with everything being abbreviated and shortened because of the pandemic. He is John Cohen, MSU AD, on the Coors Light guest line. Everybody had – and look, it's a long season. There's going to be ups and downs. But the defense played very well, especially considering the goal line stand and some of the short fields that the LSU offense was given, John.
Yeah, and I think we've said from the beginning, we don't – this defense doesn't have as much depth as what we've had in the past. But from that standpoint, it's a little bit of a rebuilding job. But Zach and his staff have done such a great job with that. And they really confuse people because they're going to give you a ton of different looks. And I think at a place like Mississippi State, having to prepare at a different level to play Mississippi State is a big advantage for us. And that's what Mike and Zach bring to the picture for us.
All right, so after the game, I don't know if you were able to see this because y'all are getting ready to leave and get back on a plane. But after the game, KJ Costello was interviewed, and he got a little emotional. It was a great interview, and he said they were giving him, whoever was interviewing was giving him a lot of praise, and compliments, which they should have. And he started talking about how the players motivate him and how hard they work in this area of the country. And then he said, and then it's Leach, man, going at it, 11 on 11, all that. Did you see that, or did you get to see it later? And can you expand a little bit on his comments on, because he said it now 2 or 3 times, on how hard these players work out and work at practice?
Yeah, I heard him drop it just means more also, which I thought was really appropriate. And by the way, he was not told to say that. He's a smart kid, and he said it on his own. But, I see where he's coming. Listen, man, I'm at our football complex right now. I got here at 6 a.m. because I'm an old man and I have to exercise every once in a while. But, there's a weight group going. They're going full speed. They're throwing weight up. They're running. They're stretching. They're getting after it. Please don't underestimate the power of our strength and conditioning staff as well. They are phenomenal. But these kids do give a tremendous effort. And, there's, as a former coach, that what you worry about is if your kids are giving a great effort, but they don't get the W. They don't get the result that they want. You're concerned about that, but the fact that we did get a W, it goes right to all the effort these kids put in. And I think there's something to that. Listen, I'm not going to make comments about different, areas of our country and who kids are and what they do. All I know is our kids, and our kids, they do give a tremendous effort every single day, but a lot of that is directed by our coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. John Cohen on the Out of Bounds show and the Coors Light guest line. His football program will take on Arkansas at 6:30 in Davis Wade. Saturday night, they're coming off a big win against LSU in Mike Leach's debut. Okay, so you've had huge series where you beat a top 5 team, Florida, Vandy, LSU, whoever it was, Ole Miss, and state rival. And then maybe the next week you play a lesser opponent. Of course, that's a little different in the SEC because everybody's got dudes and players. But what is the mentality of facing, you got to turn the page, face a team that still has SEC athletes, but it's a lesser opponent than LSU, John?
Yeah, I think Mike does such a great job of saying we're really not competing against Arkansas. Mike is one of those coaches, those rare coaches, who really puts so much stock into what we are doing versus what the other team is doing. And I'm a big believer in that as also, I think you have to do scouting reports. You got to watch film. You got to look at tendencies. All that's critically important. But if we don't execute on our end, then none of that really matters. And I truly believe that's part of Mike's focus and part of his greatness. And I'll say, if we don't show up on Saturday, Arkansas is a team that can definitely beat us. I don't care what the point spread is or anything else. But I'll also say this, just like you, Bo, I watch NFL football every weekend. And, Arkansas has had some struggles, but you start looking around the league, there's a ton of Arkansas guys in that league, and there's going to be more coming from their current team. They're a talented football team like everybody else in this great league.
I'm sure you know this stat. Do you realize that they had 12 plays of over 20-plus yards in the passing game on Saturday?
Absolutely. I mean, that really, when you look at the stat sheet, that one really jumps out at you.
I don't think that look, there's been some really good Mississippi State football teams over the years. Most of the time, they're driven by running the football, which is great. I don't think in the history of the program they've ever played pitch and catch at that level. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Bo, and I agree with the way you're phrasing that, pitch and catch, because ultimately, you think of the passing game as a guy who's got a howitzer who's just throwing bullets everywhere and trying to, expand the field and everything. Most of those throws, most of them were pitch and catch. Now I will say KJ threaded the needle a couple of times in traffic, but most of them were the result of a great route, great, precision of the route and understanding of our offense and really not a difficult throw. Especially, the shallow crosses, the throw to our guy in motion, whoever that was, some bubbles. I think, again, it's a mentality, and they're long handoffs in some cases. Even though, maybe it's a 10-yard pass, 15-yard pass, in some cases they're long handoffs. So I really believe in the system. One of the conversations I had, as just a football fan with Mike before he came to Mississippi State was, how does weather affect what you're doing? And he made a very interesting comment to me. He said, hey, John, our guy on offense knows where he's going. The defender doesn't know where he's going, and that defender has to react in the same weather conditions as our wide receiver or our running back. So I thought that was a great answer.
Interesting.
And it's again, it's a concept that the players just gravitate toward and they love.
Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone. John Cohen, MSU AD, joining us on the Coors Light guest line, MSU Arkansas, this weekend at 6:30. Blake, you've got a question for
John, I want to piggyback off what Bo said there. Mississippi State obviously played football for a long time and traditionally been a running school, and it hasn't. We saw Dak Prescott take the mantle of the Dallas Cowboys. It was the first major NFL quarterback from the school in modern football era. You now have a quarterback in KJ Costello who not only breaks the school record, but the SEC record was 623 yards. He leads the SEC. You have a quarterback in Dak Prescott in Dallas who leads the NFL in passing. I don't want to be, over the top, but what's
Yeah,
it
you
like? What's it like being the AD of QBU?
Well, we've had some good ones, and there are many different ways to do this thing. But KJ, first of all, he's got to stay healthy for us. Although we think we have some pretty good alternatives behind him, but certainly he's a guy with tremendous experience. But again, there's so many ways to be successful in this game, and Mike has his ways, and they have been very, very successful. But this is, it's a long season. It's a grind. These are the best defenses in all of college football, and they're going to have great game plans against Mike's offense. It's, and I'll tell you though, I just, watching our wide receivers catch tennis balls that are shot out of machines at, like 95 miles an hour, and all the drill work they do in terms of route running and blocking schemes. And I mean, it's not real complicated, but the repetition part of it, our kids have just gravitated toward, and to see their improvement in a very, very short amount of time, it's just been extraordinary.
John Cohen on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Well, John, it was a grind to get where y'all are today, but you've got all this game day ops going on. How do you feel just a couple of days from hosting whatever it is, 16,000 people in Davis-Wade?
Well, Bo, first of all, I want to say anybody who's listening to me right now who's a Mississippi State fan, I want to thank them for their patience and understanding. We all know, especially after a Saturday like we had last week, our stadium would be jammed. There'd be 63,000 people with cowbells, and it would be one of the best, if not the best environment in all of college football. It's not going to happen this week for obvious reasons. But our fans who understand that and understand that we are complying with the governor's orders and doing everything we can to keep people safe, I just appreciate that. And quite frankly, Bo, I got to compliment LSU. I thought, Scott Woodward and his entire crew at LSU did a great job of distancing and obeying the rules. And listen, our primary goal is to play football.
Sure.
At its core. And we got the opportunity to do that. The leadership of Greg Sankey's been phenomenal along with his staff. I just honestly, and I don't throw this around a lot, I truly feel blessed that our kids, our staff, and Mississippi State just gets the opportunity to play football at this time. Because as you well know, Bo, that's not the case around the country.
Sure. John Cohen on the Out of Bounds Show. All right, let's switch gears. You may not have had an opportunity to see it live, but I'm confident you got to see it later. Did you see Hunter Renfrow crush the baseball yesterday for that grand slam?
Yeah, he just every time I watched it, he's just so strong. I mean, he's just so physically gifted, and Hunter really works at it. He's just and I was so proud of him. I saw his interview last night, and you know what he said, Bo? He said, "Listen, I've been asked to, wait my turn, play against left-handed pitching, or be a defensive replacement or a base runner, whatever." He says, "Whatever I need to do to help this team win, that's what I'm going to do." How refreshing is that? Because let's be real honest, in professional sports, that's not always the case. And Hunter hit 33 home runs a year ago, and he's being, he's asked to contribute in a different way this year. I'm just so proud of that guy. He's so mature. He's a great team guy. And I don't think there's, I think there's a great opportunity for them to advance. I'd love to see one of our players, just like Mitch Moreland from a couple of years ago, have a chance to win a World Series.
Sure. Well, he's an outstanding young man. We've had him in studio. Super impressed with the way he carries himself, and smashed that ball yesterday in playoff baseball. So we'll see how that shakes out, too, over the next couple of weeks. So Starkville, Mississippi, and MSU will host Arkansas this weekend at 6:30. Blake, do you have another question for John Cohen?
I was going to say real quick, Hunter Renfrow, a great friend of the show. We're excited to have him. But also Mississippi State second in college baseball, tied with Cal State Fullerton and Stanford, just behind Vanderbilt with most players on playoff rosters in the MLB.
John, did you know that?
I did not know that. But, again, I really appreciate you mentioning that. This is a special place. And, I got to watch a little bit of an inter-squad game yesterday, baseball, just for a couple of minutes with Ron Polk. And he is taking notes in the stands during an inter-squad game,
Incredible.
76-year-old Ron Polk. So that to me is so much fun. And, you know, he's the one who really got all of this started. So credit to him. And, but yeah, we're awfully proud of all of our guys in the big leagues.
John, we appreciate your time today, and I know you're excited about this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo. Hail State.
John Cohen, MSU AD, on the Coors Light guest line. So coming off a big win, now they face Arkansas at home. First home game for Mike Leach. They'll have 16,000 people in Davis Wade Stadium this weekend, and I guess some cutouts. I didn't ask John if he bought one. I should have. But it's people are excited. People are, well, MSU fans this week have been nuts, but even Ole Miss fans are still, the enthusiasm hasn't wavered whatsoever.
I don't think they threw for 400 all last season, maybe in 2 games. I mean, neither school.
That's right.
Neither school had offense last year.
Lane. No, we didn't.
We're inundated with scoring through 1 week. I mean,
that's a good point.
1,000 yards of passing. When was the last time Mississippi State and Ole Miss combined for 1,000 yards of passing in one day? Maybe. I mean, State's only had one 500 passer. It was Dak Prescott one time.
And that was against Arkansas in 2015.
15, correct.
When Fred Ross made that amazing
Sports
catch.
Center #1, yeah. But he threw for 500 yards on, 50-something. It was like 38 of 50 or something like that.
I wonder how many 500-yard games Ole Miss has had.
I can find out in just a second.
Eli, Bo Wallace, Chad Kelly.
But I can't imagine that the 2 schools
may have had one too.
Have combined for, they combined for about 80 points and 1,000 passing yards.
Love that. I love that.
Every Saturday, inject it straight into my veins. I mean, seriously.
I love it. You're really fired up, and I like it.
It's because we're past the hump. We're going back into game day.
We're going back into game day.
Going back into game day. I'm pumped.
I like it. All right, so NFL tonight, high school football tomorrow with 2 college games, at least on TV that I saw, and then 11 a.m. kickoff for the SEC with all SEC games. This is incredible. This is like a bone-in filet and lobster, and whatever your beverage of choice is, it's like that every single weekend with an all-SEC schedule. Please give me this going forward at some point. I mean, this is where we need to be. We need to go to the NFL clock, and then we need to have 12 Power 5 games. Or okay, I'll take 11 Power 5 games and 1 G5. But I think I'd rather still go 12 Power 5 games. Hey, we're live in the Bank Plus studio. Out of Bounds, brought to you by Eye Care Professionals, Dr. Kirk Jeffries and the team on Lakeland Drive, blade-free LASIK and cataract surgery. Dr. Kirk Jeffries, Eye Care Professionals on Lakeland Drive. It's just down from Smith Wills on the other side of Lakeland. Just down from Smith Wills, Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kirk Jeffries. Also presented by Boar's Head, deli meats, cheeses, and hummus. Boar's Head. It's game day.